today's video, this is exactly what all Gen 1 B58s need to make extra power to keep up with those Gen 2s. Here we got a package. Let's do an unboxing real quick. Here it is. This is gonna unleash at least another 40-50 horsepower in your Gen 1 B58s. This is the Bosch TU high pressure fuel pump that the Supras and 340s all came with, but for us Gen 1s we need to upgrade this in order to keep up. Alright, first things first, always have to remove or disconnect the battery first. After disconnecting the battery, we have to remove all this plastic cover. So remove the engine cover, and then these two plastic shields on both sides. They're just held on by 10mm screws. There's one right here, one right here, and one right here. All you have to do is just like a half turn or a quarter turn to loosen it, and then these should pop right out. Just like that, and then repeat on the other side. The next thing we gotta do is remove this brace right here. It's a V brace, so it goes all the way across like this, and it's held in by E18 bolts. There's one right here, and then one on the opposite side right here. But then in order to remove it, there's these two plastic pieces. So just use a pick tool, pry it up like that, and that exposes another E18 right there, as well as right here. After removing those 4 bolts, we can lift up on this pull this rubber piece out, but don't pull too hard because there's a wire here that we have to pull out first out of this weather stripping, and then you can pull it off, which then it exposes this V brace, and then you can just take it out just like that. After taking the V brace off, as you can see, if you lift up on this little cover, the high pressure fuel pump is right there, but still do not have enough room to access it. So there's this metal tray that we have to take out, and it's just held on by a ton of 10mm screws. So I will have to remove all those, then I can take this piece off, and I'll have access to the high pressure fuel pump. There should be a total of 7 10mm. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4, 5, 6, and I think there's one hidden over there. It should be 7. Yep. Right here is the 7th one. And if you have a power tool like this with a 10mm attached, it makes taking things off way quicker. Now with all 7 screws taken apart, we should be able to pull this shroud apart. Just like this, and just leave it to the side, because this will now give us plenty of clearance to remove this little rubber piece, and now we have full access to the high pressure fuel pump. To make sure that fuel doesn't spill out everywhere, I put some old rags right below so that if it does start to drip, the rags will catch it. Now the next thing we want to do is disconnect the wire harness that's connected to the high pressure fuel pump. How you do this is that there's a tab right here. We'll pull it back with your thumb. You hear it click like that, and you pull it right off just like that. You have to squeeze after you pull it back and you hear that click. So that I can put this to the side out of the way, and there are two screws, one right here and one right here, that we have to remove in order to pull this fuel pump apart. But before we can take the two screws off, we have to remove the hard line that is screwed into this side and this side. And so to do that, we need a 17mm open wrench. So on this side right here, closest to you, you're gonna wanna go left. And then on this back side, you're gonna want to twist right. Also, we have to remove this 17mm and this 17mm nut to remove the hard line so that we can take off the fuel pump, because this thing right here will get it's stiff. So we have to remove these two so we can remove the entire hard line to take the fuel pump out. And easier if we just take out ignition coil number 1, the harness here, so that we have access to this nut here, and then this one there's enough space so you don't have to take out this one right here. Now these two screws are T30s, and the key thing about this part, which is probably the most important part, is to make sure that when you loosen it, is that you do it evenly. Don't just remove this whole side first and then do the other side, because by doing it evenly, you make sure that it doesn't come out twisting and it doesn't damage the piston of the fuel pump. And so to make sure you don't do that, it's just quarter turn on each side. Here you can see we got both fuel pumps right next to each other. The new one right here, TU OEM. If you can see, the connectors are facing opposite ways. The TU one's facing to like the 2 o'clock position, whereas the OEM one is facing the 9 o'clock position. So what we have to do here is pry up all across the bottom part right here with a flat head, and once we can remove it, we're gonna position it to the same thing as OEM so that the connector can fit. Now you can see that the connectors are facing the same way. For reference, I just used a mini flathead like this to pry it up, and after you get the pry up, you can just position how you want it to, which you're going to want it to match the OEM one. So after you do that, you just want to lightly tap it in with a rubber mallet, and so now there is perfectly no spacing around, just like the OEM one is sitting nice and flush. Now another important step before you reinstall the new fuel pump into the car is you want to grab some oil and lube up around the piston, because we want to avoid any metal to metal contact. So just grab some oil in your finger here and then just rub it around the spring and then the piston area, just to be safe. So to put it back on, I already did it off camera, but it's the same steps as if you were removing it. You just do the reverse process. When you put it in, make sure you evenly screw in each side, and then tighten all of these nuts here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then after that, don't forget to plug in the connector here. Make sure you hear that clip, and then we're good to go. Put back all the plastic shields and everything, connect the battery, give it a start, and check for any leaks. 4 spots that you want to check for any leaks is where the hard line was. So one right here, check around here, 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 and lastly right here. So I'm about to start the car and check off camera to see any leaks before putting everything back together. So far so good. There are no leaks anywhere that I can see around those hard lines. So I think we're good to go. And it is normal for the car to hesitate to start because when removing the hard lines, you're removing fuel pressure.